Hello YouTube, this is Travis Dunn with MDL, and this is my vlog for January 25th, 2016. So I've been kind of busy this week. I've had kind of an itch to take care of some things, and this room being one of my big projects. So this past week I've added 2 bookcases, and I'll start the video now. And you can see that from where I started, this room was kind of empty. It was kind of trashed. It did have a few things in it. And so I cleaned all that up. And obviously I started adding, like I said, I added some bookcases. I finally got all my video games condensed into one room. And that for me has been kind of a big pet peeve. I've had video games in one room and some video games in another, and Austin has had his, some in his room, and I've really wanted to condense that down into one room. And so, but I've gotten most of that stuff in here. Like I said, I've got all the video games, and I've got all of Austin's Skylanders and Disney Infinity, and to be honest, it's all full, and I really think I'm going to have to get one more bookcase for this room. And the thing is that if we wanted to end up turning this back into a bedroom, I can pull the bookcases out, put them in another room, and put the bed there. So I can. This room's still versatile enough to be a bedroom or a spare room if we need it to be. But for right now, that's where everything's going to end up. And I've started bringing in some of the accessories, some controllers, some of the Guitar Hero stuff, and then obviously I have my gaming desktop, I have his gaming desktop, my printers, my scanner, and I brought all the consoles, and I kind of previewed this on my Facebook, so anybody that's from my Facebook has seen this already. But I have a double shelf that's got most of my consoles there, and I'm really thinking about setting myself up a kind of main cabinet type kind of console. I have a small form factor PC that's kind of been sitting in the bottom of a closet, and I think it might be time to bring that out and turn that into a main console. I actually, a couple of weeks ago, had a friend who's very, very good at building things and doing things with wood, and he offered me up his main cabinet, and I really wanted to buy it. And I told him, I said, I would love to buy it. It was frankly just, there was no, coming out of Christmas and Faith's birthday, I just didn't have the money. And to be honest, I couldn't, there's no way I could talk the wife into spending $400 on something like that. But I have most of the stuff I would need. I have a TV, I have that PC. Really all I need to do is get it all put together and get some NES, Super NES, and Genesis controllers. And I can pick those up pretty cheap either on eBay or Amazon. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put together a MAME console and have that in here. I'm thinking it's going to be on this wall next to the bookcases. I've been real pleased with how this room's turned out. I'm still working on some lighting-ish things that I want to do, and but I want this room not only for video gaming, but also for shooting my vlog and shooting some hardware reviews. That really, to build the SD project, and that's going to be my big focus for this year, is really building that channel. And I'm already in the planning stages of doing all the car reviews and the car repairs and the car upgrades, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. With that, here, in fact, I bought the tickets here just today, but I'm going to go to the Columbus International Auto Show, which is basically just a bunch of GM, Ford, Mazda, Fiat, all the major brands bring around to their cars into the Columbus Convention Center and put them on display. And for the most part, you can get in them, you can climb in them, you can look at all the accessories, you can push buttons. They really do a really nice job of putting those vehicles on display, and having people on hand who are knowledgeable, who can answer your questions about different model options and features. And honestly, if you're looking for a brand spanking new car, it's a great way to look at all the different models. And, you know, obviously you can't test drive them, but, you know, getting a chance to at least look through the option list is really great. The only disappointment for me has always been the GM booth, and it's mostly because, like, the Corvettes, they always have the latest Corvettes on display, and they're always locked, and they will not open them for nobody. There are sometimes some exotics. Those are another ones. I've seen Bentleys, I've seen Lambos. They will not let you touch those. They'll have them on display, but they won't touch them. And then there'll be some different promotional cars. I've seen superhero cars. They usually have some of that as well. But it's a fun event. Take the family, go check out, you know, the latest models. And like I said, if you're interested in a new car or interested in what the latest technology is in cars, it's a fun time. I will tell you, go to Groupon. Usually, and in fact, that's what I did this time of the year because they're offering up discounted tickets. Otherwise, it's still not that expensive to go. And like I said, it can make a nice afternoon for the family. I'm going to go, me and Doc are going to go together, and I'm pretty much all I'm planning to really do is just shoot the showroom floor, shoot some of the models that interest me, and I'll probably do voiceover editing on that at a later time. But like I said, it's always one of those things. It's fun to go to. I'm not necessarily looking for a new car this year. I may look at one next year. And to be honest, I don't buy brand spanking new cars, mostly because I feel like you lose so much value the moment you take it off the lot, that I always like to buy, you know, 1 year old, because partly just for the fact that a lot of times, you know, you get through all the nasty nitpick stuff that comes with buying a new car. But you know, that's just the name of the game. But I will talk about that when that's not happening until March. So, but I bought the tickets early to get them discounted. So, filed my taxes this week. We got our W-2s in. I won't say exactly how much we're getting back, but to be honest, in comparison to what we paid out in taxes, and they always say death and taxes, but Jesus. But most of that money is going to our central air unit, and I'm going to start here probably the next week or so, calling people up, arranging them to come in, and, you know, getting all that stuff together to decide who's going to do it for us. And the unit was built in 1995. It's it's definitely way past its age as far as usefulness, and unfortunately, parts wise, yeah, I've replaced the fan, I've replaced the capacitors, but on the central air unit, the only thing left is the compressor. And unfortunately, even if I could get the compressor, the Freon that is in it is no longer allowed to be sold or produced. So it would be next to impossible to find somebody that actually had the Freon on hand that could refill in anyway. But it's just I don't think it's not worth the investment to even try to repair it. So we're gonna get people in, get it replaced, and hopefully it'll save us money on the long term. Obviously, having more efficient furnace, more efficient air conditioning, and it will definitely make things more comfortable in the house, because I like it cold in the summer and warm in the winter. Which warm in this room so far has not been a problem, and it's very interesting because this used to be our bedroom, and it's always been hot in the winter and hot in the summer. I always end up blocking off the vent. In fact, I'm gonna block off more of it because I've been having the window open to just balance out the temperature in here. It's horribly warm, and right now I think I've got a quarter to half the vent covered, and I'm gonna have to cover up some more. So, but in the summertime, it's like for some reason the air conditioning just never reaches this room, and part of it is this room gets the early sun, so it really warms it up in the mornings and makes it kind of uncomfortable in the afternoon. But you know, go figure. It's just the way an older home is. I'm going to be doing some type of upgrade to my Nemesis machine. I do it every year, and it kind of goes on with the whole main machine. I have two primary drives and an SSD. The SSD holds, you know, my operating system and some programs. I have one drive that holds all my games and programs in it, and then a backup drive. Now, the main drive that I'm using right now for all my programs and games, it's only 1 terabyte. It's running out of storage. I only have a few hundred gigs left. And so I think it's time to upgrade that to a 3 to 4 terabyte drive. And so, you know, and anybody that knows me, I spend $300 to $500 a year typically on my PC doing upgrades of some sort. Usually it's right around income tax time. So I am going to spend a little bit of money and do something. Like I said, the hard drive is a given. Anything beyond that, I haven't quite decided. But considering I want to buy some more camera equipment, I need to get some more batteries for this camcorder. I also want to get a wide-angle screw-on lens for it. So far, I've been fairly pleased with this camcorder. I'm still learning some of the features. I think the video quality has obviously improved. It's great to just be able to hit the button and shoot. And, you know, it does a really great job with white balance. And frankly, for $200, it was a good deal. And I've got lots of memory cards. I can shoot till my heart's content. And so, but that will also be something I'm going to pick up as soon as my income tax comes in. So this weekend we actually saw what everybody is kind of referring to as Snowmageddon. And some places on the East Coast saw 2 to 3 feet of snow, and it really came in hard on the East Coast. We got lucky here in Columbus. It literally skirted the edge of us. We got a dusting of snow, and I'll show a video that I took of that. And this is literally, you know, Saturday morning when I took the video. So obviously it shows we didn't get really anything to speak of here. South of Columbus started to get some snow, very, very south of Columbus, towards the Ohio line. Got a lot more snow. But it's been interesting to watch. John and Steven from the Arrow series on TV, and I'll show a picture, have been posting videos and stuff. They actually were in New Jersey for Villains and Hero Fest. For the most part, it mostly just got canceled. Obviously, the roads were just horrible. And they made the best of it. They had fun with the people that did show up, and they did some other fun things to play in the snow. Steven is a Canadian, so he's kind of used to dealing with snow. But even he said it came in so fast, it was kind of surprising for them. And they did get kind of stuck as well out in there. And it's just been kind of fun to watch. But I work in the transportation industry, so I had drivers that were stuck out in that area. Most of the PA Turnpike was shut down the better part of the weekend. And, you know, when it comes to that stuff, the only thing you can tell your drivers to do, find a safe spot, wait it out, and, you know, try not to, don't move until you feel it's safe, that the roads are clear and safe to travel. And the customers just kind of have to deal with it, unfortunately. And, but safety first. No freight is worth, you know, somebody's life over. And certainly with tractor trailers, it can get very deadly very fast. I-75 in Kentucky and Tennessee area was just a complete nightmare. Trucks were jackknifed, cars were being, you know, slamming into each other, and people just shouldn't have been on the roads. I went out Friday morning, picked up some extra salt. I buy a couple of bags a year, and I put my salt in a 5-gallon bucket that I have a good lid for. And sometimes you can find these pretty cheap. I think I found it for like $2 at the Firehouse Subs. They sell their pickle buckets for like $2 a piece, and that money gets put into their fire fund for firefighters. And you know, yeah, it smells like pickles. You can rinse it out a million times, it still smells like pickles. But once you get it good and dry, you know, put your salt in it, put the lid on, and you know that salt won't draw moisture in, because if it draws moisture, it gets really rock hard, and to be honest, the effectiveness is not as good as it used to be. So the other thing, and this is going to be kind of a hot topic, racism in America is kind of an interesting thing. And this past week, some students, apparently a bunch of them were wearing different letters and stuff, and they'd done some, like, I think it was for their school, had their school name, and they took one big photo. Well, a group of them got together and spelled out the N-word. I won't say it because a lot of people get highly offended for it. Here's my thing. Racism is not what it used to be in America. And obviously, even post 1960, things have been much different in America than it was prior to 1960-ish. And, coming out of Martin Luther King, all that stuff, those were important milestones for members of the Black community, and rightfully so. They fought hard to get their independence and to be counted as equals in American society. But as of today, the only thing that holds you back isn't your color. It's about your personality. It's about getting a decent education, and that opportunity is there for pretty much anybody, unless you're in Detroit, which has been just some of the video and pictures, and I'll show it here in the corner. It's been horrible, but the opportunity is there for everybody, and it drives me insane when everybody tries to use the racism card. The N-word doesn't necessarily mean what it used to. And my biggest problem with the N-word is the fact that Black people just won't stop using it. When they stop making a part of the American language and stop calling each other the N-word or a variation of the N-word, and comedians do it and rappers have been doing it for years. I mean, don't get me wrong. I grew up listening, I listened to NWA and Biggie and Tupac, and, I understand why some people get offended with the N-word, but frankly, too many people in the Black community use the N-word at each other. And until that stops, until that mentality is changed, to me, the N-word is not racist anymore. And I know that might be kind of controversial, but when, Black people can call me a cracker. I mean, that was a term that was legitimately used from Black people to calling white people. They call them crackers. And that doesn't offend me. I understand its meaning. I understand, that it doesn't have that same meaning for me. And there's very few people alive that understand what the N-word meant and what the N-word was intended as derogatory against Blacks. But people, the Black community have turned it into their own, and like I said, now it's a term that they can widely use against themselves. Nobody bats an eye. But if I say the N-word to somebody, even in joking, I'd get my ass beat. And frankly, it's appalling to think that we can't seem to move past that mentality. And members of the Black community have to stop using that word if they want that word to go away. You can't openly use that word in an inner circle and not expect others to use that word. Was it in poor taste? Yes, it was. And I think that all the students are getting suspended and blah, blah, blah. But in the same boat, I can't feel sorry for those who are now somewhat offended because these kids were white. Black people use this word all the time. And if you want the word to stop being used, stop using it yourself. But it's just, that's the way I feel about it. And I'll leave it at that. It's just one of those things that people don't understand about the English language. If you want it to change, stop using it. It will change. It's been very interesting to see where this vlog has changed, and obviously, like I said, the quality has gotten better. I've bought different equipment. I'm thinking about doing a series about kind of my transition into creating video, and I think it might be an interesting topic. It's kind of been done on YouTube, and there's different hodgepodges, and I've been watching some of those because I've talked about possibly letting my daughter do some videos and creating some content on maybe her own channel. But it's very interesting to see the different views of Well, what do you need? What's a good camera? And it's so crazy to see a lot of them go, well, you need the T3i or the 60D. And I think for first time people, those type of cameras are difficult to use, very difficult. This camcorder is great. It shoots in 1080p, 60 frames a second. Like I said, I bought this particular one because it has an onboard audio plug-in, so I could technically plug right into it if I had a cord long enough for this view. But and a cell phone is a great way because it's handy. Everybody has a cell phone, but it does have some serious limitations, especially with image stabilization and things like that when you're moving around, you're walking, and but there are other issues that I personally ran into, and I think it might be a worthwhile topic to sit down and put my 2 cents into it. So that might be a video I might do here in the near future, kind of talking about some of the things I think that first-time YouTubers should think about, and maybe some of the equipment that they should consider. To be honest, my first real set of equipment was fairly cheap. I mean, my phone, which I already had, this lapel microphone, I think I got 3 of these for $6 or $8. The recorder that I used to record my audio, now this one was a little expensive. This one was like $50-$60. I have found it from time to time, found it cheaper, but this is a really handy thing. It does really great audio. I can plug right into it. If I want to, I can turn around and put my earphones so I could hear myself on the recording. And it's really easy to sync in post. My lighting is just some daylight bulbs above me. I have daylight LED bulbs in some clamp lights. They're Home Depot, like $10 a piece. I think honestly probably have more in the bulbs for these 2 lamps than I do in the actual clamp lights themselves. And and I've talked about I'm now using this $200 camcorder. Like I said, I think it would be an interesting topic. Might be something that like I said, I may sit down and get more in depth with. But so I think that's all I'm going to talk about today in my vlog. I hope everybody has a great day, has a great week, and I will catch you later.